Hello viewers, it's Josie. Welcome back to Eclectic Movie Reviews. And today is the day before Valentine's Day, and in honor of that, I am going to talk about 5 classic romantic comedies that I recommend to you. Uh um First one is these are some classic romance movies that came out between the 40s and the 60s. I'm talking about 5. First one is The Court Jester from 1955. This aloof carnival man named Hubert Hawkins, played by Danny Kaye, disguises as the court jester Giacomo with the intention of overthrowing the evil King Roderick, played by Cecil Parker, and making sure that a baby with a purple pimpernel birthmark is crowned. When he arrives at the king's court, it turns out that the real Giacomo, the masquerading alias Hubert uses, happens to be an assassin recruited by the cunning Sir Ravenhurst, played by Basil Rathbone. Now, Basil Rathbone was a world-class fencer, and the sword fight he has with Danny Kaye and the court jester is actually his last cinematic sword fight. The king's daughter Gwendolen, played by Angela Lansbury, becomes infatuated with Hubert/Giacomo, and a witch trains him into knighthood. However, Hubert's true love is his maid Jean, played by Glynis Johns, who's essentially his main partner in terms of throning the infant, like getting the baby to the throne. I like to think of it as one of those Shakespeare mistaken identity comedy plays mixed with Robin Hood Men in Tights. And speaking of tights, the producers did not like Danny Kaye in actual tights, so they asked him to wear leg falsies. Another fun fact is that one of the songs in the movie, since it is a musical, Life Could Not Better Be, eventually became the theme song to the Danny Kaye show in 1967. The whole cast is fantastic. It's a very funny movie. If you're in the mood for a fun medieval fantasy comedy romance, then The Court Jester is right for you. It's available on Blu-ray through Paramount Presents, and it's also streaming on Pluto TV. Next up is Love in the Afternoon from 1957, directed by Billy Wilder. Claude Chavasse, if that's the right way to pronounce his name, played by Maurice Chevalier, is a private detective who lives with his daughter Ariane, played by Audrey Hepburn, in Paris. I believe she's in music school and plays the violin. One day, the wife of one of his clients happens to be having an affair with a middle-aged American playboy named Frank Flanagan, played by Gary Cooper. When this particular client tries to murder Gary Cooper's character, Audrey Hepburn's character, Ariane, stops the murder from taking place, and then she and Gary Cooper's characters fall in love. And at the time, it was considered both a critical and commercial failure, but it became, I guess, sort of a cult classic over time. Part of the aversion was due to the age difference between Gary Cooper and Audrey Hepburn. Cary Grant was originally supposed to play Gary Cooper's character, but he turned it down. Of course, Hepburn and Grant would later star in the movie Charade together. Nevertheless, Love in the Afternoon is a very sweet movie. It's a very hidden gem in my opinion. I love Billy Wilder and I love Audrey Hepburn. She's also in another one of Billy Wilder's films that I really like called Sabrina. Now, both this and Sabrina feature really cute little dogs. It's just amazing how versatile Billy Wilder was with making both dark film noirs and romantic comedies. This film, in a way, classifies as sort of a crime film because her father's a crime detective. Love in the Afternoon is available on Warner Archive Blu-ray, and you can stream it on HBO Max. Next up is a public domain movie called My Dear Secretary from 1948. I watched this back in the summer. Owen Waterbury, played by Kirk Douglas, is a romance writer. When he teaches a night school class lecture, he meets an aspiring writer named Stephanie, nicknamed Steve, Gaylord, played by Lorraine Day. He hires her as his secretary. Inevitably, romance blossoms between them. I consider it to be sort of a satire of the publishing industry. It was so cool seeing a movie from 1948 featuring a woman so determined to achieve artistic agency. Are all the jokes from this film politically correct by today's standards? Absolutely not. But even so, I still applaud the film for featuring a female writer. My Dear Secretary is available to watch in the public domain on YouTube. I don't think it's available on DVD or Blu-ray yet, but I would love if it was. I think it could really use a physical media release. Kino Lorber or any other label, if you're listening, please consider My Dear Secretary. And finally, The Talk of the Town, directed by George Stevens. Going into this, I thought it was going to be like a major screwball, and it turned out to be more of a crime dramedy. I still loved it though. I'm saying that as a compliment. Cary Grant plays a mill worker named Leopold Dilg. He's falsely accused of burning the mill he worked at down. He flees jail and hides in a cottage rented by his former school crush, Nora Shelley, played by Jean Arthur, who I love, for the summer. Her tenant is a candidate for the Supreme Court named Michael Lightcap, played by Ronald Colman. Under their wing, he poses as a landscaper named Joseph to keep safe from the trouble. Nora, Jean Arthur's character, tries convincing Lightcap that Dill, Cary Grant, is innocent. A love triangle occurs between the three, and then twists and turns take place as far as finding out who the actual crooks are. It's both a nail-biting crime story with political satire and a really cute romance. It's available on DVD. I'm not so sure about Blu-ray. And you can rent it for a couple dollars on Amazon Prime. Oh wait, if I said that Talk of the Town was the final film I'm going to talk about, that was a mistake. Actually, the fifth and final film I'm going to talk about today is What's So Bad About Feeling Good. That's a song from the movie. From 1968, directed by George Seaton. He directed Miracle on 34th Street. What's So Bad About Feeling Good is a satire in which a toucan bird arrives in New York City carrying this virus that makes people feel happy and treat each other kindly. When the film starts, we meet a cynical bohemian beatnik artist named Pete, played by George Peppard. He's living in a commune with his girlfriend, named Liz, played by Mary Tyler Moore. And when the toucan bird comes into the picture, George catches it first, and he experiences a high level of euphoria. At first, Mary Tyler Moore's character is uncomfortable with George Peppard's character's mood change. Pete, that's George Peppard, pulls off a scheme in which he pretends to be a German philosophy cult leader in order to manipulate Liz and the rest of the members in the commune to get the virus. And this euphoric virus spreads across the entire city. People are joyous, they're smiling, everyone's nice to one another. They're not even using drugs or alcohol. But the government wants to contain the virus, for they fear that if this euphoria continues, that it will hurt the economy. And one of the figures involved is J. Gardner Moore, played by Dom DeLuise. And his character wears this ridiculous space helmet. It's really funny. The ensemble cast is wonderful. In addition to George Peppard, Mary Tyler Moore, and Dom DeLuise, the cast also includes Charles Lane, Thelma Rutter, Susan St. James, and John McMartin. The color palette is gorgeous. The toucan bird only adds to it. Overall, it's so clever and strangely relevant, but it also makes a good point about, how to be happy. But the main heart of this film is George Peppard and Mary Tyler Moore's romance. It's available on DVD and Blu-ray through Kino Lorber. Before I go, uh, I want to give a really thankful shout out to Brian Sauer and Elric Kane from the Pure Cinema podcast for introducing me to these titles. They've talked about these films on their podcast. And yeah, uh, that's all I have to say for now. And have a happy Valentine's Day. And the Super Bowl's today. No matter what team you're rooting for, have a great night. Thank you for watching. And you can follow me. The links to my socials are in the description below. Goodbye for now. Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day.